Hi, and thanks for joining the SJ Child Show. The SJ Child Show brings value to families through education and resources. But the SJ Child Show isn't just about me, it's about us as a community. Join me as we help educate and support our community, help bring kindness and love and inclusion to all. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and watch. I really appreciate all the support from all of the viewers and listeners, and I just want to let you know I want you to join me on this journey. Come and follow my social media, and let's do this together. Enjoy the show. Introducing Autism Vehicle Home Safety Kits, Emergency Responder, alert stickers, personal profiles with autism needs and a communication board, masks and earplugs, keeping families and emergency responders educated and safe. Get yours today at sjchilds.org. Helping autism families impact their child's developmental milestones through home relocation, community resources, and home designs. For every 3 homes Natalie Castro sells, she funds and designs a sensory room for a community center servicing individuals with autism. She volunteers to coach law enforcement, first responders, and ER nurses how to have a positive experience for individuals on the autism spectrum. Hi, and welcome to the SJ Child Show. I'm your host, SJ Childs, and today I have a special guest who is a member of a few groups that I also belong to. And so I get to follow and watch him grow. And I'm excited to introduce him here today so that you can also follow his blog and support him as well. Jeff Snyder, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure, SJ. Thank you for having me on.
It's so great to have you here. You are a adult with autism and advocate in the community, and you do such an amazing job on your blog, and you belong to a few organizations. So we're going to get into that, and I just have a great conversation. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Jeff Snyder. I am 32 years old. I am from Seekonk, Massachusetts, which is a small town close to Providence, Rhode Island, and about 45 minutes southwest of Boston. I was diagnosed with autism at 21 months old, which was in December of 1990. I was nonverbal until I was 4 years old. And then upon my graduation from Seekonk Public Schools in 2007, I became the first autistic student to complete pre-K through grade 12 within the Seekonk Public School system without coming from other towns or school districts. I have been living in my own apartment since 2015. And I am also I am a autism neurodiversity self-advocate and public speaker, founding Going the Distance, which is my blog in May of 2021, so Memorial Day to be precise. And I am also a public speaker, which I have done speaking engagements for a variety of conferences and trainings. And then also I am in addition, I am a core team leader for the Autism Tree Project Foundation based in San Diego, California. And more recently, I became a junior board member for the Unicorn Children's Foundation based in Boca Raton, Florida. So I am very busy individual. I'm very passionate and very driven for the autism and neurodiversity communities. And my goal is to make a big difference within the community, and especially for today's generation, as I am the proud uncle of 2 little girls. One is 4 and the other is 1. And my goal is to teach them that they're going to be growing up among neurodiverse individuals as they go through life.
Oh, Jeffrey, that's such an amazing, inspiring story. I'm so glad to have you on here today. And listeners are just really going to gain a lot of value from this conversation. A lot of my listeners are parents of children with autism, adults with autism, but I think especially for the younger parents of the younger children, they really seek out advice and tips and guidance from autistic adults and from places like this where we can bring them that kind of, education and resources and tools. 21 months is quite early. My son was diagnosed at 16 months, so I can completely understand that time frame. The same, nonverbal, and until he was 4 as well. How did your parents go about those early years? Were there early interventions programs there in Massachusetts?
Yes, there were some early interventions, particularly in the 1990s, and I did some occupational therapy, verbal therapy, those kind of things, and of course, I was on an individualized educational plan throughout my educational career. So I did have accommodations and a strong support system.
That's wonderful.
And
were you able to be a part of those meetings when you were able to go and set those up? That's a conversation I had recently with a gentleman as well, and how he felt like he wasn't a part of his IEP sessions. And I think it's important that we include our children in those.
Well, I actually didn't start attending my IEP meetings until I was in 8th grade.
Yeah, sure.
Middle school. So once I got into 8th grade and right on through high school, I attended all of my IEP meetings, and I got involved. I had a say in what was being said about,
Love that.
what my plans were for education. And of course, whenever I went to school, I treated it like I was going to a job, because, when you're going to school, you're going to do business with the teacher. So
good way of thinking.
Yes. Of course, my dad was a vice president for a company called Snyder Technologies for 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my business side comes from him. So that was my big thing about education as well. And then of course I also was big into, of course, one of the biggest accommodations I had was with school safety drills, particularly fire drills.
Nice.
And when I was in school, before they would pull the alarm, I would get taken out of the building. And my part of my mission is to make schools aware that neurodiverse and sensory friendly students do get bothered by the drills, despite the importance that they serve.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of schools would not want to, go that route because the students
extra steps, whatever,
because they want students to go through the drill the same way as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, as someone on the autism spectrum and who has been through these drills, I know what it feels like. I know what students go through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my missions, is to reach out to teachers and administrators that school safety drills are very bothersome despite their importance, but we can take some of the edge off through intervention and through awareness and
strategies. Yeah, a little bit of strategizing too with those students. I think that that's a fantastic mission, Jeffrey. I don't think enough people, I myself have never really considered that. Even having children who have gone through and seen the kind of stress that makes them go through, I've never picked that out as something I would, go and
Mm-hmm.
bring awareness to. So that's amazing. Thank you so much from everyone in the autism community for bringing that awareness to our communities and to our especially education systems. That's so important. And I'm excited to spread that message with you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Absolutely. What was it like? So you graduated. I'm sure your parents are so proud of you, living on your own, which is inspiring, of course, to all sorts of other parents and things. Tell us about your after school, kind of your transition into that adulthood and getting your own place. What did that look like for you?
Well, I will say that I wish it could have gone as much smoother as I wanted it to. Um, the big thing was that when I didn't get my first paying job until after I got out of high school. And of course, I mean, I didn't have the smooth transition that I think I wanted to. And I was basically just thrown into the workforce when I was right after I got out of high school.
Yeah.
And at the time, Massachusetts Rehabilitation Commission, they assigned me with an organization called Attleboro Enterprises, and their main forte was retail. And I've been in the retail industry for almost 15 years now.
Wow.
And I've and of course, no disrespect, but the retail industry, it's like, and I actually paraphrased this in an earlier interview today. It's like serving in the military because you're on the front lines. And this particular organization that, we now have a very close, connection. As a matter of fact, our former neighbor in our old neighborhood is the CEO
Oh,
of this organization. He, their main forte, of course, was retail and nothing really else. And we've been trying to convince this organization that, there is more out there than just retail, because retail, working in it, I can tell you from firsthand experience that I have had, I've had a lot of sensory issues when it comes to working with retail, particularly, during the holidays. And,
sure.
um, and of course, you're basically, dealing with the public and in a variety of ways. And that, and, and that's why I think major vocational and rehabilitation centers should be more open-minded to going beyond just retail.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, yeah,
100%.
um, there's also the matter of like office work. There's office work, filing, working in a mailroom. Even working for the post office is a possibility as well. And then also there's like, you could, and especially now with the one thing that the COVID pandemic has taught us is that we can work from home. I mean,
You can thrive online. Yeah.
there's plenty of online jobs out there. So those that can't be out in the workforce with the public, they can, work from home and get a decent living that way. I mean, I'm strongly considering it myself,
Yeah.
with my, with my advocacy and public speaking, just to give that sense. But I think a lot of other neurodiverse individuals struggle with when it comes to getting a job is flexibility, particularly when it comes to changing routines and stuff. I struggle with that mightily. And also because at the time, I wasn't as self-aware of myself as I am now, because with the self-awareness, when it comes to being flexible, is that it's not just a necessity, it's a survival skill. Because if you're going to be rigid, then you're not going to survive. And the only way you're going to survive in anything is if you're flexible. And a lot of autistic and neurodiverse individuals struggle with being flexible, and they don't want things to change, but sadly it's just a way of life, and I've had to learn that the hard way sometimes. So
Not the truth.
And that's another part of my mission, is to help neurodiverse individuals, families uh, teachers and, educators and employers understand that, neurodiverse individuals have to be flexible and open-minded the same way as everybody else, because I've been there. I know what it's like, and, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you find, like, on Facebook or things like that, are there social groups that you belong to? Are there, like, autistic adult men's groups that you go to and share to be a part of?
I am a part of a few groups on mostly my professional Facebook page. I actually cut back on personal social media after, the past year and stuff. So I am a part of a few groups. Some of the groups I'm a part of include wrongplanet.net autism group, which is mostly for neurodiverse individuals. Also, I'm a part of Neurodiversity Newsstand, which is run by a colleague of mine, Becca Laurie Hector, who's actually based in Colorado, not far from where you are.
Nice.
And so I'm part of her group. I also founded my own group called Jeff Snyder Disability Self-Advocacy, which has about 600 members.
Wonderful.
As of this interview. And then I am also very active on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
So I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. I'm part of about 10 to 15 groups on LinkedIn.
Nice.
So, because that's a very more professional.
Yeah.
That's a very professional social media group. So I'm, and then of course I'm also very active on, I'm also active on Instagram and to a lesser extent, Twitter as well. So, so I'm very active. And then of course, it's all for the purpose of, going the distance and what my mission is with this brainchild of mine.
I love it. Let's talk about the blog and how that got started and how that's going for you.
Well, the website and the blog itself, Going the Distance, it's given me a way of further expressing, because one of the things that I struggle with is expressing myself.
I think you're doing a fantastic job, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
And the blogs have allowed me to express things in ways that I can't express verbally. And so I can easily write down what's on the blog, what's on my mind, and put it into the blog. And I'm trying to, put together topics that can really resonate with the audience. And as a matter of fact, I did two blogs, one about weddings and another about funerals, that a couple people have reached out to me and said, that they can relate to those topics that I mentioned. And I think people, not only am I expressing myself, but they're seeing things that are that they've never seen before. So it's so that's kind of what the basics of that are. So
I love that. I think that it's so important to be able to have a place to express yourself. I mean, I love that I started this podcast. I just similarly started it in March of this year as well. And it's been such a amazing journey. And I think I'm like you, up in the hundreds of episodes already, and can't wait to keep going and bringing more value to the community, especially these autism episodes, which are really my favorite, close to my heart. So I appreciate that. So let's talk about your membership on some of the boards that you belong to, and tell us a little bit about those foundations.
Well, the first organization that I'm a part of is the Autism Tree Project Foundation. They're based out in San Diego, California. It is a 17-year-old organization that was founded in 2004. And I actually got involved with them 2 years ago for their annual neuroscience conference, where they invite like professionals, therapists that specialize in neurodiverse conditions to come and share their expertise. And I was on a panel with about five other neurodiverse adults, and one of them actually is nonverbal and communicates through via typing. So
that's incredible. Oh, wow. I bet that was such a great experience for everyone.
Yes, and I started out as a core volunteer because I'm very involved with the organization. I've been involved with the organization since that conference. I attended all of their. They do this thing called Lunch and Learn, which is a Zoom meeting like what we're doing right now, and and people in the community come and kind of share their expertise and their stories, and a lot of them are connected to the Autism Tree Project Foundation. And I also fly out there sometimes.
I was just going to ask that. Do you get to go to sunny California?
Yes, I do a lot of flying. It's part of my work, part of my job as a self-advocate and public speaker. So I go out to San Diego and I help out with like some events and stuff. Like we did a beach event in September where we had about 20 people attend. And then we had, and then just not too long ago, we did a Halloween picnic at Point Loma Community Park for 13 families and 17 kids.
Oh,
so
that's great.
So that was overall a success. And it gave me a chance to kind of, bond with the people. I mean, I'm very close to them, and I consider, and I'm willing to help them out in any way. And it's great, and it's going to keep going. It's going to stay great.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. That's so great. And tell us about your junior member on the other board member.
Yes, I am a junior board member for the Unicorn Children's Foundation, based in Boca Raton, Florida. And they specialize more in preparing, in helping neurodiverse and developmentally disabled individuals in preparation for the workforce and Wonderful. Just living life in general. They're very passionate. I just actually joined this group. I joined the organization 2 months ago. Yeah. So I'm still kind of learning the ropes of it, but a lot of my colleagues have been associated with Unicorn Children's Foundation. We specialize in, of course, with we teach, they teach life skills and also job skills, and also it's also a matter of community. They get students, come together and just kind of be themselves. And so that's what they do. And of course, they're also we do a lot of fundraising. We do a lot because we have a lot of golf tournaments it's in Florida.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of that. And then we're actually doing it. We also do a gala, a fundraising gala. So we have that scheduled for sometime for the end of March, where we're having Josh Blue, I believe, from I think it's America's Got Talent or something, but he's a comedian. So we're going to have him as a special guest. And again, I'm just treading the water. I'm starting to get my feet in the waters of UCF, but they're a great organization, and I'm looking forward to making an impact with them the same way as I do with ATPF. And then finally, I'm also a moderator for the Global Autism Project's Autism Knows No Borders platform on my networks. And the Global Autism Project, it's a global organization where they where they support neurodiverse and autistic individuals around the world. And they have partner sites in China, India, Eastern Europe, Africa, and even in the Caribbean. So yeah, and of course, I mean, I'm also one of my co-moderators is, and a colleague of mine is close colleague of mine is David Sharif. He's a world traveler and a self-advocate who has a global background and he's also a public speaker as well.
I'll have to I've seen David on there, so I'll have to get in touch with him, definitely. Well, and they're all so lucky to have such a great advocate like you on their side. What an honor and inspiring story. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Before we go, I have one more sneaky question, and then we'll let us get your websites and all that stuff. I want to ask you about the hot topic, dating. Tell me about your dating life. How's that going? Are you doing it? Are you interested? Anything?
Well, I mean, I've tried dating, but it's really not for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in a sense married to my work. So,
yeah. Hey, if you have a passion, live it,
plus,
right?
Plus to me, I think dating it's very complicated. It's like it's a whole different animal. And I mean, for some people, dating's a passion, but for me, it's not. I mean, I've had crushes. I've had crushes and things of that sort, but it's really not. At the end of the day, it's really not for me.
Okay, great. I love that answer. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that respecting everybody's journey and wherever they're at on their path is the best way to go about being a better human being for everyone, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Give grace to everyone. Well, thank you so much again for being here. Tell us your website where we can get a hold of you and find you on social media.
Well, I am on I'm on WordPress. My website for Going the Distance is Jeff Snyder, Autism Neurodiversity Self-Advocate.wordpress.com. That's my main website. I am also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. My my username for Instagram and Twitter is GoDistance3562. And in addition, I am also a contributor to a book called This is Autism by Jessica Leitchwise and Aidan Allman Cooper.
Wonderful.
That is currently on Amazon.com for $19.97. And if you would like me to sign you a copy at a future autism or neurodiversity conference or training, please let me know, and I will be happy to sign your copy for you.
That's so exciting. Thank you so very much. And I'll make sure to have all the links down in the description and up on the screen so that when you're saying all of that, I'll type it all in there and everybody will be able to find you easier. So thank you so much for your time today and for being a part of the SJ Child Show, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll talk to you soon.